everyone, here's part 2 of Top 20 SQL Interview Questions video. What is the difference between primary key and foreign key? Primary key assures the value in the particular column is unique, whereas foreign key provides the link between the two tables. In this case, ID in profession table is a foreign key and ID in friends table is primary key. Number 2, primary key cannot have a null value, whereas foreign key can have a null value. Number 3, a table can only have one primary key, whereas a table can have multiple foreign keys. What is the difference between primary key and unique key? Primary key in a table uniquely identifies records, whereas unique key prevents two rows from having duplicate entries in a column. Primary key cannot have a null value, whereas unique key can have a null value. A table can only have one primary key, whereas a table can have multiple unique keys. In this case, I have phone as unique key and email column as unique key. Number 4, primary key creates clustered index, whereas unique key creates non-clustered index. This is the difference between primary key and unique key. What is the difference between where and having? Where clause filters the records in the table. It filters data before the data is grouped. Having clause filters the records in the group. It filters data after data is grouped. If I have to use where in a query, my sequence will be select, from, where, group by. If I'm using having in a query, my sequence will be select, from, where, group by, having, after group by. So why we use having clause when we have a where condition? Having clause was added in SQL because the where clause cannot be used with aggregate functions. What is the difference between count and count distinct? The count function is used to count the number of rows specified by the query, whereas count distinct eliminate duplicate values before the count is applied. So for example, if I have to run the query select count department ID from employees, I will get result as 13 because it contains duplicates. But if I have to eliminate duplicate values, I will write my query as select count distinct department ID, which will go in parentheses as department ID from employee. The result will give me 6 unique department IDs. What is the need for group function in SQL? The group by statement groups rows that have the same values into summary rows, like find total employees in each department. It is often used with aggregate functions like count, max, minimum, sum, average to group the result set by one or more columns. Difference between truncate, drop, and delete. Truncate empties a table completely. Drop command deletes the whole structure, the whole table in one go. And delete command delete the rows in the table. What is the difference between clustered and non-clustered index? Cluster index defines the orders in which the data is stored in the table, which can be sorted in only one way. Primary key is a good example. It allows you to create a clustered index based on that specific column. A non-clustered index is defined in the non-ordering field of the table. It collects the data at one place and records at another place. The index contains pointers to the locations of the data. For example, a book can have more than one index, one at the beginning, which displays the content of the book, while the second index shows the terms in alphabetical order. What is OLAP and OLTP? OLAP or OLAP stands for Online Analytical Processing. It is used for data analysis like sales forecasting, budgeting. OLTP stands for Online Transactional Processing. It is used to manage large numbers of online short transactions, for example, ATM. Can we roll back after using the alter command? Alter table cannot be rolled back. These includes data definitions language statement, for example, create or drop databases, create, drop, or alter tables, or stored procedures. What are constraints in SQL? Constraints are rules that can be applied to the type of data in a table. For example, not null. This constraint prevents null values from being stored in a column. Unique gives you the values in a column that are unique. Primary key specify which field is the primary key in the table. Foreign key uniquely identify a row in another table. What is query optimization? It is the process of making SQL queries more efficient, faster outputs, and it minimizes the impact on the database. What are SQL commands, or what are the 4 types of languages in SQL? Number 1 is data definition language that defines the data by using the commands like create, drop, alter, or truncate. Then we have data manipulation language that manipulates the data by using command like select, update, insert, and delete. Then we have data control language, or DCL, that gives you grant or revoke. Then we have transaction control language that uses the commands like commit, rollback, and save point. What is the difference between in and exists? Exists evaluates true or false in a query. For example, find all the orders from order table where item exists in item table. Whereas in will compare all values in the corresponding subquery column. Example, find all the orders from the order table where item ID matches the given list. What are SQL rank functions? There are 3 common SQL rank functions, and they are: number 1, rank. It retrieves ranked rows based on the condition of the order by clause and skips the rank if there is a tie. Number 2, row number. It returns the row number of the sorted record starting with 1. And number 3 is dense rank. It does not skip any ranks if there is a tie between the ranks of the preceding records. What is a stored procedure? It is a prepared SQL code that you can save so the code can be reused repeatedly. For example, if you have a SQL query that you use frequently, you can simply write a stored procedure and then call it to execute it. You'll write something like create procedure, procedure name as your SQL statement, and go. And then later on you can just write exec, which is execute, your procedure name, and you'll get your SQL statement.